My name is Glen Alleman, and I live north of Denver in the United States, in Colorado, and with mandatory capabilities at the end of the project. Risks in our project are complex, and they arise from a wide range of sources and having a broad scope of possible effects on the project. These are the consideration usually defined in ISO 31000 that speak to the principles and guidelines of effective risk management and define risk as the effect of uncertainty on the possibility of achieving an organization's objectives, and tell us what defining those objectives must be in place before attempting to handle risk. This definition also establishes that all risk comes from uncertainty, and in our project world, risk comes in two forms: aleatory uncertainty, which is irreducible, and epistemic uncertainty, which can be reduced. With the identified uncertainties, determining the impact of the probability of project success is the next risk management process. Alan Kay is an American computer scientist who literally invented much of what we see today and what we're using today at Xerox PARC in Palo Alto, California, at the Palo Alto Research Center. He invented object-oriented programming, so we're back to another quote that we'll use many times here. And that's Tim Lister's core principle, that risk management is project management for adults. So continuous risk management is the basis of success for all projects. And this means that the management of risk is not an event, it's a process, and that is continually applied to every aspect of the project. Here's some functions performed by continuous risk management. We don't have the right people at the right time with the right skills. And of course, team building is the basis of making any changes and applying continuous risk management, removing all the underlying root causes, taking preventative or corrective actions to handle the risk and prevent them from becoming issues, and using John Katzenbach's definition of a team, which is a group of qualified individuals who hold themselves mutually accountable for a shared outcome, is the basis of continuous risk management. But all 5 principles are needed to increase the probability of project success. So we'll say it again until we're tired of hearing of it, but we're getting closer, and this workshop hopefully will spread that word. Our probability of success is greatly reduced. It's epistemic and aleatory. And this is repeated over and over during our principles because it is not well used in most of our standard risk management handbooks, including ones from the Project Management Institute. Epistemic uncertainty is something we can do about. Ask yourself, how long are you willing to wait before you find out you're late, or you're over budget, or the thing you're building doesn't work? Then you must have to be able to assess that project to plan at half that distance in order to take corrective actions or preventive actions. It starts with understanding what the risks are, except of course there were many conditions right in front of him just as he left the harbor. More specifically, in the absence of information, or if put more scientifically, this means statistical analysis, measures, quantifying this uncertainty, building models of the potential impact of the decision in the context, and all that kind of stuff that is done in tools that we'll see in our second workshop. But the outcome is to increase our probability of success. Epistemic risk is modeling by defining the probability the risk will occur and the time frame in which it occurs, which this probability is active, and the probability of impact or consequence from the risk when it does occur. It's a reducible risk. The sources of the risk must be identified. We're observing the aleatory uncertainties in action. An aleatory uncertainty refers to the inherent uncertainty due to a probabilistic variability. The weather is aleatory uncertainty. This uncertainty is irreducible unless you're a deity and can cause it to stop raining, and it always has variability in the underlying variables. But if I have multiple tosses of a fair coin, the probability distribution is going to be the total number of heads and the total number of tails. Turns out to be a binomial distribution. For epistemic uncertainty, this is modeled as a probability distribution function, showing the probability of occurrence and confidence intervals. For aleatory uncertainties, and what is the precision of that number? Since everything we do in the management domain operates in the presence of uncertainties, What are the conditions and the actions that create the root cause? If no one strikes the match because there are no matches to strike, or we remove the matches from the space in which the combustible material exists, we have to outline when, where, what's the significance, safety, environmental, cost, revenue, frequency, all that stuff is much more detailed, and we're going to see a little bit of a picture on that. Consequently, all the challenging causes and effects relationships allow us to think more critically and understand that the problems are rarely as simple as we think they are. So risk management is actually systems engineering. And it's easy to say that this isn't a risk management, but people prefer to do this instead of actually doing real risk management. That we make a list of the risks and we hope they don't come true. The systems activities, we need to look and see what the risks are, what their uncertainties are, project controls, all the performance management stuff. Risk management is proactive, and if you plan and anticipate risk potentials, then implement the systems management activities for the technical direction to control the risk potentials throughout all the life cycle, the ideal world will come true with some probability of success. Asking, what are the aleatory uncertainties? How are my handling strategies going to reduce or prevent those uncertainties from turning into risks? And how am I going to get out of this?